Slicing through East Bank, the Metro Green Line connects students to downtown St. Paul and downtown Minneapolis. The Caterpillar-like mode of transportation, like its bus counterparts, are operated by Metro Transit. In 2016, Metro Transit was named the Transit System of the Year by the American Public Transit Association following record ridership, the opening of the Metro Green Line, and operation improvements. But things are a little different now for Metro Transit in 2022. COVID-19 restrictions cut a lot of services, and as the world continues to emerge into a near-normal society, operations have not fully resumed to their pre-pandemic capacity.
In 2021, but we saw that a year of sort of recovery and resetting. And so we had fewer workers available. We still had less demand for our services. And so we rescaled and prioritized the ability to deliver reliable service over fast service. And so that's why the network map that we have today is still more highly focused on our core urban local routes than the express network, but we're trying to be able to provide service for everyone while still being faced with a completely different hiring market than we had before the start of the pandemic. While we don't have the same number of people, especially frontline staff like our operators and mechanics, who are out for the COVID-related absences, we simply have fewer of them that are working for us now. We have about 300 fewer bus operators, for example, today in the end of November 2022 than 2.5 years ago.
Ridership is the number of riders utilizing transportation, and in 2015, Metro Transit's ridership was at its highest level since 1981, with customers taking a total of more than 85.8 million rides. Transit ridership plummeted when the Emergency Peacetime Declaration was issued in March 2020. It has notably increased after the declaration ended during the summer of 2021, and with initiatives like the Universal Transit Pass at the University of Minnesota, ridership has returned, but not to its pre-pandemic levels.
We understand from our customers and our ridership patterns that high frequency, all-day service, the off-board fare payment to keep buses moving is really what our customers are looking for. And for us, it's a good service to operate. And our feedback from our operators has been that they also like operating it much better as well. And so we're continuing to make those investments. We're also, at the start of this year, expanded the U-Pass program, that we have essentially a universal U-Pass. And we're monitoring that closely, especially with the Green Line traveling through campus right now. And as an example, over the summer, we had piloted a program where we had 2-car trains on Blue and Green Line because simply the ridership didn't demand a 3-car service. And we were experimenting based on employee feedback whether or not that could be a more effective way to provide a better environment on board the cars.
I drive through the U. That bus is standing room only. That ridership is up. So no, I can't speak prior to the pandemic because I didn't work here, but from my time to now, ridership is up. And I think also that people, when I talk to people, because I will bring up, well, you could take the train, it would be faster. They do feel safer on the bus. So, because they know that there's a person there to intervene if needed.
During the summer of 2022, Metro Transit implemented various initiatives to improve the safety of their services to provide a better sense of security for riders. These efforts were in response to increased public safety concerns about public transit. These concerns existed pre-pandemic, but have since increased with the pandemic, especially in regard to crime on Metro Blue and Green lines.
More times than not, it's a pretty exciting trip. However, I certainly have had times where I've needed to call the authorities and report either illegal or bad behavior, or people who clearly aren't feeling well because of drug or alcohol use, all of those sorts of items. And so it's something near and dear to me. Again, both as an individual who uses the system, but primarily in my role and responsibility as the COO. And so one of the things that I'm really proud we've committed to is our Safety and Security Action Plan. I feel like this is a good step forward. It's a list of about 40 actions that we believe are holistic approaches beyond the simple enforcement actions, and how do we provide resources so that we're able to address problems by somebody other than those with a badge and a gun, because even the police officers acknowledge they're not the solution for everything. And so we're making strides in that. We continue to make reports to our council on how we're progressing through each of those steps. And one of the things that we're looking at, and we hope to be able to roll out early next year, is an ambassador program. And so those are unarmed civilians who really are there partially to just ensure people understand how to navigate the system, but also there to report issues of conduct, bad behavior that maybe don't rise to the level of criminal activity, but are generally making people feel unsafe, or that it's not a desirable element. Things maybe like smoking, code of conduct type issues.
In my year and a half here, I have had 2 situations, and other than that, I have had nothing. I have not been threatened. I have not been yelled at. I mean, there are certain areas, certain routes that I think would have an increase in that, but I don't see any of my passengers ever feeling unsafe, and that's one thing that I really try is to make everyone feel safe when they're on the bus, and I try to create my own community.
Staffing shortage, a decrease in riders, and public safety concerns have all impacted the way that public transit operates in the Twin Cities. These circumstances have prompted Metro Transit to establish new goals, like many other companies and organizations since the start of the pandemic. Opportunity and mobility are at the heart of public transportation. For someone who may rely on public transit to navigate work, school, or personal matters, it is not ideal to have reduced or infrequent service, often byproducts of a staffing shortage. Initiatives like the Universal Transit Pass for colleges and the offering of transit passes for high school students are significant, as is the expansion of services that better meet the needs of the community.
The jobs that we have and the service that we're providing is really making a difference to the community. We see those tangible benefits every day. And I think that part of it is because I've been on the inside for so long, and I know the energy and the effort that it takes to get the buses and trains going every day and to deliver that service and the hard work that goes into it. But I think it's always maybe lost on people who aren't as close to it as I am and my coworkers, is really how integral and how dependent some people are on our service, and how critical it is, at our office here where I can see buses and trains going each and every day. I know that it's making a difference in people's lives.
It's customer service on wheels. I mean, if you're going to be a bus driver, you have to love people, and I love people.
Improving public transit is beneficial to the continued development of the Twin Cities community. Public transportation is environmentally friendly, creates jobs, allows individuals to go from one place to another, and reduces traffic congestion. To be pro-public transit is not to view it through rose-tinted glasses and ignore its shortcomings. Being pro-public transit is to see it for what it is, its imperfections, its merits, and to continuously look for community-centered improvement.